Something that I like to do when I'm working through the book is every now and then I like to save my file and I like to include the page number. That way, if I botch up and I were to go to revert, I don't necessarily want to go all the way back to the beginning of the book. I want to go back to the last time I successfully saved. So I would encourage you to do a file, save as, and then whatever your file name is, include the name of the page number that we're on. And that got us through page 71 in our book. So I'm just going to call this one 71 and say save. I've already done this, so I'm going to get a warning. Do I want to do it again? And I do. But that's a good idea. And again, when this pops up, everything is fine. Just say okay. You'll get in the habit of just clicking okay. That way, as we move forward, if I screw something up, I know at least I can open this file and go back to page 71 and keep moving forward. So the next thing we're going to learn is about aligning objects. And Illustrator makes it very easy to align and or distribute multiple objects relative to either each other, the artboard that they're on, or a key object. And we're going to learn about all three of those. We're going to start with learning about how we align objects to each other. So we're going to select, under our select menu, we had already previously named a selection called bamboo, and we're going to click on that and notice we get all of these pieces together again. If you're not on Artboard 2, go down and navigate to Artboard 2 so that it becomes bigger and you can see your bamboo on the artboard much larger. All right, with this selection chosen in our properties panel over here on the right, we're going to go down to the alignment area. And notice if you hover over it, it's going to say align horizontally to the left, the centers horizontally or the right, or we're going to do vertical top align, center align, or bottom align. We want to choose the one that is horizontal align center, this one. And when we click on it, it's going to take all of those pieces and align them horizontally at their center point. So that's one way of doing it. We're going to undo this step so that we can show you the next step or the next option. So do a Command Z to simply undo that but still leave your bamboo pieces selected. The second thing that you can do is align them by a key object. And a key object is useful when one of the pieces is already in the perfect position. So if we really wanted these to all line up relative to this one, so as to stay in this line, we would specifically make this the key object and then do an alignment based on that. So with your shape still selected, we're going to now click on this leftmost piece right here and notice it puts a thick blue outline. That means that this is now the key object, the one that it's going to use to do any of the commands we tell it to do now. So if it's going to align, it's going to align to that. Once you have that thick outline, we're going to go back over and do our horizontal align center again. And notice they all pulled over to match up to that key object. We're going to click on the key object again to remove that thick blue line, and that also removes it from being the key object. We're going to keep all the bamboo pieces still selected. The next thing that we can do and let Illustrator do the hard lifting for us and the math and the movement is we're going to distribute objects. So this allows you to take multiple objects and distribute the spacing either between the centers or the edges of those equally. So think of a white picket fence. If you had 7 pieces of fence and you wanted to horizontally spread it equally across these 5 inches, you'd be doing a lot of math to try to figure it out. It's much easier to let Illustrator do the work with the distribute button. So with these shapes still selected and none of them are key objects, that's important, we're going to come over to our alignment panel. And at the bottom of it, there are 3 dots. Whenever you see that, that means there's more options that you can see. So click on the more options. And it starts with the same alignment that we had right here, but then we also have distribute objects and spacing. We are going to choose from the distribute, vertical distribute center. So this one, if you hover over it, you're going to get your shortcut, vertical distribute center. Click on that and notice that there's equal spacing between the centers of all of these items. The center here and the center of this one has this much space, as does it here. Same space, same space, same space. So this is making it so that their centers are spaced an equal distance apart. We want to undo that last step. So do a Command Z, and we are going to now select this top shape and tell it to be the key item, the key object. Now we're going to come over to our alignment. We're going to click on the More Options button again. And we're going to look down further here, and we're going to make sure that distribute spacing is set at 0 inches, and we're going to choose the vertical distribute space button, this one right here. And when we click on that, instead of measuring from the centers, it's going to say bring these all together with 0 space between them. So that brought them all together in perfect alignment, and now it kind of looks like a bamboo stem or a stick. Right, we're going to click away to deselect. We had to click twice. The first time got rid of the key object, the second time got rid of all of the bounding box. So click twice in an area that doesn't have anything, and we are at a point that we could save our file again. I'm going to show you 2 more things before we actually do that, before we save again. Next, we're going to align 2 anchor points to each other using these align options as well, but we're going to be using our direct selection tool. So come up into your toolbar or press the letter A on your keyboard to get the direct selection tool. And we're going to click on this orange shape to get all of the anchor points highlighted for us so we can see them all. And you can see that there are 4 right now. What we're going to do is we're going to click on this lower right point first to just select it, and then we're going to hold down Shift and we're going to click on the lower left anchor point so we can see that both of those are selected and are going to react to each other. And when you're doing key objects or key anchor points, the last point you click on is automatically the anchor point, or the key object in this case. So because we started on the right and then clicked the one on the left is the key point that we're going to do alignments based on this one. Come over to your alignment panel over here in the properties panel, and we're going to choose the vertical align tops, and we're going to click on that, and it automatically brought this anchor point to align vertically with the top of this anchor point. So we used these same alignment tools, but we made it specific to anchor points rather than whole shapes. Click away to deselect, and we're going to move on to the last option, which is aligning artwork based on our artboard. And again, I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Your artboard is the actual dimensions of something that will print. So if we wanted to intentionally align this shape to the bottom of the artboard and the dead center of the artboard, instead of just moving it and eyeballing it, we can use our alignment tools instead. To demonstrate aligning to the artboard, we're going to take our selection tool and we're going to select this orange shape on artboard 2. And we're actually going to move it to artboard 1. We can do a drag and drop, or we can do a cut and paste, and that's what we're going to do first. If you forget the shortcut, under Edit, you see Cut. But I want to point out that cut, copy, and paste, so Command X, C, and V, works in all Adobe software, and it works in like Microsoft Word and Excel and things like that. So these are shortcuts that you should definitely know. So to cut something out is Command X. So I'm going to use the keyboard shortcut and Command X. Now I'm going to intentionally navigate to Artboard 2. So I need to pick it from the artboard picker down here or from the artboard picker in our properties, either way. And now artboard 1 has this thin black line around it, and that is our active artboard. From here, we want to paste. And whenever you just do a regular paste, it's going to land in the center of your document. So Command V is paste, and if you get that noise like I did, I'm not sure why it's doing this, but I can come again up here to the Edit menu and see that paste is indeed Command V. I'm not sure why it did that. So it places this shape in the middle center of our artboard and it puts it on top of the stack. So this piece of construction paper is now on top of the Fox pieces underneath it. Now what we want to do is come over to the alignment option over here. And besides all of these that we've looked at, there's a little icon before, and that's your align to what? And we're going to click on that. We can align to a selection like we already did with the bamboo. We can align to a key object like we did with the bamboo, or we can say align this to the artboard itself. Make sure that the artboard is the one that's selected, and then we're going to choose align right bottom. No, I said that wrong. Horizontal align right, sorry, we're going to choose that. And then we're going to choose vertical align bottom. Align to the artboard. Come on, work with us here. Okay, now it's working. I don't know why it didn't know that. So align to the artboard, horizontal align right, and vertical bottom. So it's now aligned to the right of the artboard and at the bottom of the artboard, perfectly placed. Note that this orange shape is on top of the Fox. We can't see the nose and the mouth underneath there, so it's just an actual problem of our stacking of layers. And later we're going to put it in the right order, so don't worry about that. So aligning to the artboard is another option that you can use. And again, if you want to specify which one you're working with, if you only have selections showing, you don't necessarily need to worry about these, the way we demonstrated the first few options. So this is what your document should look like. I want you to click away so nothing is selected, and then do a file, save as, and we are now through page 75. And if you want to do this using the numbers like I'm doing, it's just helpful if you want to backtrack and work through a piece of the book that you didn't quite understand. If you always just save the file, it's going to update it, but you're never going to be able to revert back to where you were on page 71, for example. So that gets us through our alignment.